Hello, gorgeous. Where have you been all my life? Of course I am. I was lucky. If you're gonna be in an accident, that's the best way to be. Don't you agree? But then I've always been a lucky guy. I just met you, Miss Drew. I see Maddie's been talking to you about me. Of course it was just an accident. Things like this just happen. I can think of millions. All those jealous husbands and boyfriends of the women who send me marriage proposals, cookies, and other notes d'amour. Oh, please. If a public figure like me went to the police every time someone sent them a nasty gram, the donut shops would lose their best customers. Poison chocolates. Oh dear, Maddie's really gone over the top with this. They were just a bad batch, that's all. Look, if you dare me, I'll eat one. But if we're gonna play that game, I'd prefer another dare. So, how about it, Nancy? Truth or dare? Admit it. You find me irresistible, don't you, Nancy? Oh, you're no fun. Well, mi casa es su casa. You know, my house is your house. Well, feel free to examine the evidence, Miss Drew, while I go off to wardrobe. Have a chocolate while you're at it, okay? While I go to makeup, stay here, get all cozy, and stay beautiful. Touché! So, you're an old friend of Maddie's. She told me you were coming up to visit. She said you find me irresistible. Don't I know it? She's been driving me crazy worrying about me and these wacky letters I've been getting. Nothing, but she's got her priorities all mixed up. What she should be concerned with is how Powers is driving her career into the ground. My hero, Nancy Drew. You know, according to ancient tradition, if someone saves your life, you should serve them for the rest of your life. So, what can I do for you, young lady? Your wish is my command. Yes, I have. They're named Agent Harris, Officer Josewitz, and Detective Bonnet. It appears I've been quite a celebrity with the local authorities. Hey, I hear Detective Beach is looking for a new star. Do you think I should do some research with my new friends to land the part? Right. Isn't it filmed in Paseo del Mar? That's where you're from, right? No, but I'm willing to take your application for the job. Right, I forgot. You're celebrating your 70th birthday next month? Oh, you are so sassy. But that's what I love about you. Sassy. Hello, Miss Drew. I see you can't get enough of me. Do I drive you wild? Listen, I need to take care of something, but feel free to stick around. Will you do me a favor, though? Dwayne's a loser, babe. Don't tell me he's representing you. Yeah, and that's a problem. Maddie hangs on to Dwayne like my Aunt Mimi hangs on to cats and old newspapers. Yes, he did. A very long time ago. I was young and naive, just like you, love. I made a mistake. Something you can't afford to do at this point in your career. I'll give my agent a call. He can direct you to a decent agent in your league. And just do me a favor and stay away from Dwayne. He's the kiss of death for an actor. Whatever anyone's saying, I can guarantee that it's all wrong. I swear. I'm just misunderstood, that's all. Okay, I admit it. Lillian and I had a brief fling. But my heart's true to you, love. Lillian's a nobody. She was always after me, and things were breaking up between Maddie and me. It was just a rebound romance. Afterwards, it was a rebound relationship. Lillian got to show me around to her friends as her trophy win. And it was fun. For a while. Oh, come on. Everyone knows about Maddie and me. The perfect match made in soap opera land. It was too weird dating her and playing the role on stage. I just had to figure out what was real and what was just an act, you know? I sometimes think, if I can only get out of being Rory Danner, maybe she can get out of being Serena Livingston. I know, I've got this bad reputation as being some kind of Casanova, but everyone's got a second chance, you know? I just wish sometimes I could go back in time, just wake up and find it was just a dream and start all over. I wouldn't be known as Rick the Slick then. Nah, Millie hates me. Did I tell you she's been trying to write me out of the show ever since I got on board? I don't know why. Luckily, owning the company doesn't mean you can work as scriptwriter. Old Millie Strathorn! Heir to the worldwide broadcasting fortune. She's great, except for the fact that she's never liked me. She thinks I'm too big for my britches, and that I wouldn't know a good thing if it came up to me and stuck its finger in my nose. Yeah, I know Owen. He was with the Beekman Theater, wasn't he? Yeah, he's kind of short and stocky. Oh, don't tell me you're seeing him. Don't break my heart, love. Whoa, you got me there. Can we rewind this and try this one again? Yeah, right. Prove it. Okay, Nancy. You got me. I started all of this by sending myself those ransom-style notes. But I had nothing to do with everything else that followed. You gotta believe me. I just did this to get some publicity, not kill myself. Parting is such sweet sorrow. Farewell, my lady. Ciao, bella. Au revoir, mademoiselle. Rory is a character who is dear to my heart. I never put him in a life-threatening situation. I'll leave that to the writers. Only my hairdresser knows for sure. Oh no, not while I'm with the WWB network. Well, yes, in a sense. I feel like I'm being watched at every moment, and always at the same time. Weekdays from 2 to 3 on Channel 13. Well, let's just say it was love at first sight. Entrez-vous.
How nice of you to drop by, and thank you for walking instead of parking in the driveway. I'm expecting a pupil. I'd hate for her to have to park on the road. Am I to assume that you have the correct solution to that logic problem? So, you have the solution to that logic problem? Now what? Ready to resume our telepathy experiment? If one is to teach others how to develop and use their paranormal gifts, it's only logical that one must possess such gifts oneself. Richard Topham at your service. The paranormal includes telepathy, or communicating by sending and receiving thoughts, extrasensory perception, or perceiving that which cannot physically be seen or heard, and psychokinesis, using one's psychic energy to reshape or move objects. I was in the process of trying to make these spoons move by using nothing but my own psychic energy. Have you ever focused sunlight through a magnifying glass until it was a minute yet searing point of light, Miss Drew? You see, that's what I do with my cerebral emanations, my thoughts. I focus them until they're a beam of pure energy which ultimately disrupts and transforms the molecular force field surrounding the target object. Yes. Well, on occasion. As I tell my students, increasing one's rate of success is simply a matter of practice. Oh, indeed. I take them through exercises designed to help them increase their output of phantasmic energy. To some degree, yes. The goal of the Topham School for the Study and Development of Paranormal Powers is to enable students to make the most of whatever gifts they have. If you want to sign up for an introductory session, I believe I have an opening today. Oh, I'm afraid I'm busy, young lady, far too busy to engage in idle conversation. I'll be blunt, Miss Drew. I've discovered that the more time I spend with the, shall we say, intellectually unendowed, the more my cerebral pulsations seem to diminish. I'm afraid I cannot speak to you further unless and until you prove that you are worthy. That is, that your brainwaves are not unacceptably inferior and thus deleterious to mine. Good luck and good day. Why, you appear to have indeed found the solution. Sorry. Unless and until you solve the problem correctly, we cannot speak. Last summer, while on my way to the university for a conference, I stopped for a bite at the Lilac Inn. Since it was crowded and I was in a hurry, I agreed to share a table with an elderly gentleman who, like me, was by himself. As soon as I told Mr. Crowley who I was and what I did, well, he insisted that I give him a training session that very afternoon, and was so thrilled with his progress that he demanded I stay and teach him everything I knew. Oh, I know rumor has it that I somehow tricked him into it, that I insinuated my way into his home, but I assure you that was not the case. The best. He had his annoying little habits, but his desire to realize his psychic potential was unparalleled. Delighted? Yes. Surprised? Not really. Josiah was all alone, you see, surrounded by people like the Crandalls and that banker, Jim Archer, people who were nice to him only because they knew he had money. Go right ahead. The place is more like a museum than a house. Josiah was a man of many, many interests. I'll be right here if you have any questions.
Would it be okay if I looked around?
Go right ahead. The place is more like a museum than a house. That was Josiah's workshop. I assume it contains even more detritus.
Do you mind if I look around some more?
Be my guest. Be my guest.
Is it okay if I look around?
Certainly. Marcel was what Josiah called his favorite hat.
I'm going to poke around some more, if that's okay.
I don't mind.
You don't mind if I look around, do you?
Go right ahead. He loved that hat, so to him naming it made perfect sense. You must be talking about that chunk of quartz that came last winter. I still have it right here. Why? Perhaps we can work something out. You see, amazing as this is going to sound, I am able to project my thoughts into another person's brain. The only problem is, not everyone has the intellectual capacity to receive my thoughts. But since you have already demonstrated a high level of intelligence, yes, You may very well be the ideal subject. You are going to help me prove that I am telepathic. Here's what we're going to do. Well, you failed to correctly identify 5 in a row. Shall we continue? Well, actually, I did it. But in any case, thank you for your assistance. Yes? Do you need anything else? Josiah no doubt lost it. He had a terrible memory, poor fellow. No, as a matter of fact, I gave that hat to Gloria Crandall. She said she was fond of the old fellow and wanted something to remember him by, although I suspect the real reason she wanted that hat was to see if he'd stashed any money in it. No doubt it's filled with the same thing as this house. Junk. But if it's junk, why haven't I gotten rid of it, you may well ask. What's the point? The game that's in the parlor of the Lilac Inn? Never. Such frivolities are an inexcusable waste of cerebral energy. Young lady, I've never set foot on that golf course, let alone made whatever par is. I haven't the foggiest. Probably. But I have no idea who it was. I heard the explosion and fire. Ruined my 9 o'clock session. Pupil. I was with a pupil. I run a school, not a vegetable stand, and yes, I was. Until I dismissed her 20 minutes early. All the ruckus made concentration impossible. That's a shame. I rather like waking up to the odor of fresh-baked pies, and I rather like Emily Crandall, although I doubt the feeling is mutual. Very well, as far as I'm concerned. But as far as they're concerned, well, not anymore. You see, the fact that Josiah left everything to me made some people around here, including Emily and now this Jane Willoughby, very bitter. It hurts me, of course, but it's human nature, I suppose. I get along with everyone. Well, at least I did. You see, well, since you've proved yourself to be intellectually above average, which means talking to you should do me no harm, what would you like to talk about? Well, I know it's silly to hang on to Josiah's things, but he was a wonderful man, you see, and I just don't have the heart to get rid of them. Too sentimental for my own good, I guess. No. Why? It's a very old copy. I'd rather it not be handled unnecessarily, lest it fall completely apart. I'm sorry, Miss Drew, but request denied. I'm sure it was. The feeling is almost mutual. I knew you were going to say that. A little psychic humor. Good day. Drop by any time. What in blazes are you doing? Sneaking around in here like a common thief? Interrupting one of my sessions? I knew there was something unsavory about your phantasmic pulsations. Well, soon they will no longer be my problem, but the sheriff's. I'm afraid that fire today was as unfortunate for me as it was for Miss Crandall.
Who's this?
That's Josiah wearing his favorite hat. You may come in. Just close the door behind you, please.
Was this Josiah's clock?
Everything in here was Josiah's. Over here, Miss Drew. Find the toy mouse and give it to Yuri, would you please? Otherwise, he'll just keep meowing. He hates strangers. Find the toy mouse yet? I believe it's by the table.
Yuri, be quiet. You're disturbing us. Yuri, be quiet. What's wrong with you? All right, Yuri, I'm coming out there. All right, Yuri, I'm coming out there.
The man on stage in this picture, is that Josiah?
Yes, that's from a production of A Midsummer Night's Dream that he directed and starred in. It closed after 2 nights, but he didn't care. He loved that play. Did you say something?
No, just talking to myself. Sorry.
What on earth was that? Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Want some lunch? There you go, good kitty. No, no, Yuri, that's not a toy. Put it down. Good kitty. Spoons are not toys, remember? Why, that's wonderful, Mrs. Stratton. The spoon just flew right up off the table all by itself. Yes, I'm sure your mother-in-law was surprised.
What I have here is an exercise in logic. If you can discern the correct solution, then I'll know that conversing with you will do me no psychic harm. You may take it with you. As you'll soon realize, Josiah's mental faculties were starting to go, I'm afraid. He tended to ramble. Very little of what he wrote in there makes sense. Let's have a look.
Believe me, Mr. Fry, it would be a mistake to end your sessions now. Why, your emanations have grown so strong, I can feel them through the phone.
Stay out of there, please. There's nothing of interest in there. Please don't go in there. That room is off limits, I'm afraid. Go right ahead. I don't mind. Certainly. Hello, Miss Drew. Do you mind? Excuse me. May I help you? I'm going to shuffle a deck which contains 5 sets of these cards. Then I'm going to turn my back, draw a card, look at it, and start transmitting my thoughts. When you receive my thoughts, you will identify the card I'm looking at. Once you correctly identify 5 cards in a row, I'll give you that piece of quartz.
But what if I can't do it?
Just stay focused on the cards and my superior brain power will do the rest. Very well, let's begin. What card am I looking at? What card am I holding? What card is this? What card am I concentrating on? What card am I thinking about? Do you know what card I'm looking at? Tell me, what card is this? Can you tell me what card this is? Which card am I thinking of? This is which card? Excellent. Here's another. Wonderful. Here's another. Very good. Here's another. Very good. Marvelous. Here's another. You go, girl. Here's another. Yes. Here's another. Incorrect. You must focus. Here's another. Wrong. Here's another. That's not right. Here's another. No, try again. Wrong. Very good. You did it. Here's the piece of crystal that Josiah ordered. Take it. You've earned it. Well, actually, I earned it, but let's not quibble.
What do you do with these?
I put them on the windshields of cars parked in the area. Great advertising.
Ever put them on cars at the Lilac Inn?
All the time. I've gotten quite a few pupils that way.
Clear your mind of all thoughts. Think about nothing save that spoon. I want you to find the spot on the spoon in the middle where the handle arches up. And I want you to look at it. Really, really look at it.
Can I help you find something? Hey, you must be Nancy. I'm the cook, Shorty Thurmond. Welcome to Shadow Ranch. Come on over here and tell me about yourself. Tell me you've called the Raleighs. Hey there, Nancy. Man, I wish the Raleighs were here. Miss Nancy, how may I be of service? Got those eggs for me? Pick those vegetables for me yet? Yes? Nancy, I figured after last night you'd be long gone. I know I would be if I were you. That's a great-looking cake you made, Nancy. Go get Tex and we'll eat it. Dave can help himself when he gets back. Go find Tex so we can eat that cake. You can find more eggs than that. Sorry, Nancy, I'm kinda busy here. Besides, I gave you that chore because I took you for the resourceful type. You ain't gonna let me down, are you? Sorry, Nancy, you're just gonna have to figure it out for yourself. There's more ripe stuff out there than that. You have talked to the Raleighs, right? Rats! I promised the Raleighs I wouldn't talk to you until after they did. So what do you need? Do you have any idea how hard it is to have an interesting conversation with those 2 guys out there? It's impossible. So call the Raleighs, then come right back. It was Dirk Valentine's horse, you know. Call them! I'm dying here! That is creepy, isn't it? But the horse, that was even creepier. See, sure do. See, well, I was just about to crawl into bed last night when all of a sudden this glowing horse comes galloping up outside. It stops and rears and paws, whinnying and snorting. Then it just wheels around and gallops off into the night. Now it's a phantom. Dirk Valentine was an outlaw around here back in the 1880s. Legend has it he was in love with Frances Humber. She lived right here on Shadow Ranch. Because of him, Valentine was captured and eventually hanged. Ever since, the ghost of his horse has been roaming the desert, cursing whoever sees him with bad luck. Story? All I know is, Ed Raleigh sees the horse, and what happens less than 2 minutes later? He gets bit by a rattlesnake. You do the math. I'm really looking forward to you and me sitting down and having a nice conversation. Especially with all the weird stuff that's going on. I'm so busy getting all their chores done in addition to my own that I barely have time to talk to myself, let alone to you. Enough of me complaining. What's up? Good. 'Cause if you pick vegetables that aren't ripe yet, I'll be real ticked. You can put 'em in the vegetable basket that's hanging outside. And one more thing. Sometime today, I need you to build a cooking fire in the pit outside. I'll light it when I'm ready to start cooking. And be sure to fill the bucket out there with water and leave it by the pit. You know, just in case something catches on fire that isn't supposed to. And be sure to fill the bucket out there with water and leave it by the pit. The Raleighs wanted to have a cookout tonight, and by golly, we're gonna have a cookout no matter who is or isn't here. Now, second thing I need you to do for me is take this. Anything I can do for you now? I need those eggs, Nancy. I need those vegetables, Nancy. You're good to go. I need you to do one more thing. It's Tex's birthday. The Raleighs told me to make him a cake. Now, if I make it, he'll throw a fit. But if you make it, he might actually appreciate it. So why don't you dig a cake recipe out of the recipe box and have at it? I don't care when you make it, just so it's done by the end of the day. The icing's already made. And don't forget to build me that campfire like I asked. Do exactly what you did for me yesterday, and I'll be forever grateful. Start by picking all the ripe stuff in the garden again. Well, I know she says she wants to buy it because she feels spiritually drawn to it, but I think she's got something up her sleeve. My money's on Shy. I mean, it kinda takes brains to be secretive, and he strikes me as being pretty much a lightweight in that department. Know what I mean? Oh, Nancy, it's great having you here. I mean, I like to talk, you know? I like to converse, to debate, to discuss. More than anything. Which isn't a bad thing. You're not nosy. Me neither. People like you and I are fascinated by the human condition, that's all. So, who else do you want to talk about? Just proves we're birds of a feather. I've been known to go poking through other people's stuff myself. The livestock will still get water from the windmills, but we humans are gonna have to get every single drop of water we use from the faucet in the pump house. And that's gonna be a royal pain. Why can't that darn horse do its cursed thing somewhere else? I saw the pipe. It was rusted through. That's why it burst. That and bad vibes from that equine banshee. No, they had no idea when they'd be able to send somebody out here. And if that generator goes, not that bad. I'm in here with no water. I'm terrified to turn the gas on for fear something's gonna blow up. And if that generator goes, I could be cooking in the dark for days. Weeks. Well, not weeks, because no way am I staying here that long. I'm so freaked out now I'm not sure I can last one more day. Listen to you. Cool, calm, optimistic. I'm a wreck and you're a rock. Of course, you're also dead wrong and totally deluded, but I'm still impressed. When I heard that rumor, I started reading everything about Dirk Valentine I could get my hands on. But the more I read, the more it sounded like he suckered Frances into believing he'd hidden something for her, just to give people something to talk about when he was gone. Now, if you just fill that egg basket for me again, we'll be all set. Music to my ears. First thing you can do for me is go out to the garden and pick all the ripe vegetables. Music to my ears. First thing you can do for me is go out to the garden and pick all the ripe vegetables. You know what ripe vegetables look like, don't you? Do exactly what you did for me yesterday, and I'll be forever grateful. Start by picking all the ripe stuff in the garden again. Basket's outside. Same old, same old. If you bring me all the ripe stuff from the garden, I'll give you a basket to fill up with eggs, and once you're done with that, you'll be good to go. Got one right here. Course. Nice lady. I mean, for the most part. Gets real unfriendly when the subject of the Rowleys comes up. All the water to the ranch house has been cut off. If I thought there was a snowball's chance in Tampa that Valentine had stashed any of his loot here, I'd be tearing this place apart. Why? What do you know about it? You betcha. Unfortunately, her daddy was the sheriff. Drop by anytime. Pleasure talking to you. Don't be a stranger. Come back soon. For your information, I got those maps 'cause I was hoping there might be a long-lost gold mine or two around here. But like most of my get-rich-quick ideas, it didn't pan out. Apparently, there's no gold left in them thar hills. Or silver, or copper, or anything else. Now, I don't ever want to catch you in my stuff again. Hey, what are you doing? Oh no! You picked stuff that wasn't ripe yet again! Oh, well, there's only one thing to do. Sure, anytime you want some, just help yourself. Tex really liked it, by the way. Great looking fire, Nancy! Nice job! I made you that flour Frances mentioned in her recipe. I cut all the pieces out of marzipan using her old forms, but I'll be darned if I can figure out how the pieces go. That's food coloring so you can paint that marzipan flour, but you gotta put it together first. Hey! Nice job! If you really want to get fancy, go ahead and paint it with that food coloring I left out. Food coloring so you can paint that marzipan flour when you're done putting it together. Go out to the chicken coop and fill it up with eggs. Just be careful of that basket. It's kinda old. Oh no! You not only picked all the ripe stuff, you picked stuff that wasn't ripe too. You wasted perfectly good food, Nancy. And out here, we just can't have that. We just can't. Oh no! Looks to me like you picked every single thing that was out there. You wasted perfectly good food, Nancy. We just can't have that. We just can't. Oh no, you got stuff in here that isn't ripe yet. Picking stuff before it's ripe is a waste of perfectly good food. So don't do it again, you hear? Hey, you're crowding me here, Nancy. I need elbow room when I cook. Some of this stuff's overripe, but I'll just pitch it. Good for you. Hey, you got stuff I can't use in here. Some of it's overripe, some of it's underripe. Now get out there and try again. And remember, just the ripe stuff. Oh no, you got stuff in here that isn't ripe yet. Picking stuff before it's ripe is a waste of perfectly good food. Now go back out there and be more careful. Hey, there's stuff that's way overripe in here. Well, I'll just pitch it. In the meantime, go back out there and try again. Just went through another door, Nancy. Went through another one. Only 4 to go. I'm just 3 doors away from you, Nancy. Only 2 to go. Almost there. Only 1 door left, Nancy. This is it. I'll be there real soon, Nancy. I'm getting close. I'll write a best-selling cookbook. That's what I'll do. Then I'll get my own TV show. Then I'll do a movie. And while they're out here punching cattle, I'll become a gazillionaire. Whoa!
No teeny boppers till showtime. House rules. Nancy, what's the 411? What's up? Can't talk long. Gotta check on my people. How goes the search? Hola. I got the number. I left it in the ticket booth. This woman isn't a Houdini herself. She's the widow of one of Houdini's cousins. Did you call? What's the story? Nancy, we could be golden. Nancy, don't blow this. Not now, sister. I'm in the zone. Nancy, you've got to find out what's on that slide. Aren't you here to worship at the screen of Brady Charmstrong? You are what you consume, and that movie's nothing but processed cheese. Every ticket sold is a vote for corporate cannibalism. And nobody cares now, but one day, abracadabra, we're gonna wake up in the United States of Generica. Hollywood? The fantastic plastic vacuum? I wouldn't go there in a pig's suitcase. I'm Nicholas Falcone, solemnly sworn to lead the forces of Hadit and slay the dragon of corporate Generica. Who are you? And what's with the doom and gloom? What are you calling them for? A little taste of your tax dollars going bad? Haven't you heard? The battle is on. There's a human chain forming out front as we speak. But all that can wait. It's obvious you got a situation, so what's up? And the crisis is... Good old Charmstrong. Why are women always losing themselves over him? Forget Charmstrong. If she wants the real story, she better talk to me. It's more like they have a problem with me. Whew. Kidnapping? That's a high-profile tactic. Somebody means business. So what's the demands? No kidding. That'll blast those bureaucrats and corporate bigwigs out of their dream world. Applause for the cause. We need all the help we can get. I'm sorry. I know you're upset, but they won't mess with your friend. They just took her for effect. It's called making a statement. She'll be okay. Trust me. Who are you, my freshman English teacher? Come on, Nancy. That's vintage slang. You know, the 411, the deal, the lowdown. Politics is personal, but with this place, it's ultra-personal. My grandma, Louisa Falcone, designed the molds for all the insane plasterwork that you see in this lobby and in the auditorium. True, but there's more. I guess the architect-owner guy, J.J. Thompson, ran out of cash before the building was done. He never paid my grandma dime one, and then he denied that she had ever done the work in the first place. She was the artist type, not a deal maker. I guess she'd never signed any contractual stuff with J.J., and she didn't have the resources to sue him or any of that. So I guess she just had to let it go. Here's the kicker. After JJ sharked her on this 2-year project, she was broke. And then the Great Depression hit. She could never afford to work as an artist again. Louisa, Mother Serenity Falcone, she just kept on trucking in true Falcone style. Died at 97 without a bitter bone in her body. I think she had a happy life. But this theater holds the last artwork she ever did. Don't you see, Nancy? Saving this place is not just for history. It's for justice. My family has been trying for years, but there doesn't seem to be anything on record that links her to this place. Nancy, could you do me a favor? While you're searching, could you just keep your eye out? You're cooler than I thought, Nancy. Well, don't just stand there. Start breaking it down. Yeah, and what does this have to do with the ownership of the theater? Ha! Serves that swindler J.J. right. Nancy, do you realize what this means? If Thompson didn't own the whole place, then whoever inherited it from Thompson doesn't legally own the whole place either. We've got to find out what happened to his half of the ownership. You keep looking for Maya. I've got a laptop out in my van. I'll get online and do some research. Check back soon. So what are you waiting for? The wrecking crew to bust in and dial the number for you? Come on, sister, get the lead out. This theater's a spotted owl. It's a humpback whale. It's endangered. Illustrious buildings testify to our finest human hours. They should be celebrated, not bulldozed to make way for cardboard megaplexes. Need I say more? Go on, spill it. And what did they say? Exactly. Way to go, Nancy! You're on fire! A package just came from that museum. We may have the goods to stop this demolition dead in its tracks. Check the ticket booth. That's all hearsay, Nancy. They got no witnesses, no testimony, no nothing. I am not an eco-terrorist, and I would never orchestrate the temporary disappearance of anyone who wasn't in on the plan and down with the cause. All right, Officer Nancy, chill out, will ya? I'm on your side. Let's just say I know a little bit about impassioned people and their extreme measures. Nancy, you've got to find out what's on that slide. We can't wait for Joseph. He's probably roaming around saying goodbye to each and every doorknob. I heard they're about to start clearing out the building. You've got to hurry. I'll cover for you when the police come in. This is it, Nancy. Go! So what's the demands? All I know is they like to dig through my garbage and follow my van. Does this face say America's Most Wanted to you? I was outside, harnessing public outrage. Ask anyone. He's around here somewhere, polishing things. Don't worry, Nancy. This cowboy will be on the scene with a megaphone in each holster. I guarantee you the press will get more than they bargained for. Oh, it's very hush-hush. The name of the building firm is Wave of the Future, and the owner is some B. Thompson, descendant of J.J. Thompson, but he's never available for comment. Fishy, right? $10 says B stands for baloney. They've been in that process for years. It's all just a big wad of red tape, a bunch of bureaucratic hocus pocus. Had it's about action, not paperwork. If you need a phone, there's an outside line in the ticket booth. Fight the power. On the flip side, keep it real, sister.
Well, I'm looking for Dirk Valentine's treasure. Yes, ma'am. See, my great-aunt Ellie was Francis Humber's cousin. When she died, she left me a bunch of stuff, including an old letter she'd gotten from Francis, couple of years. In the letter, Francis said that Valentine had hidden a bunch of loot somewhere and wanted Francis to find it by following the clues he left for her. I also found this picture. I was hoping that the treasure might be under the stairs in here, but no such luck. As far as I know, no one does. The entrance is secret, about a week. Mostly late at night or whenever I could sneak away. I come and go through a secret entrance. These stairs lead to a secret door behind the bookcase in the den. The Raleighs don't know. I was afraid that if I told them they'd... I know, and I'll tell them, I swear, soon as they come back. They got enough on their minds right now. I don't know anything about that horse or any of the other stuff that's been going on around here, I swear. Now, if you'll pardon me, I need to tend to my chores. Francis was real smart, see? Loved puzzles. Played the piano pretty good, too. Anyway, after Valentine met his end, Frances was too broken-hearted to care about some treasure. She told Aunt Ellie that if she could find it, she could keep it. See, my brother's dead broke. No job, health's bad. I was thinking if I could just find the treasure... You call the Raleighs yet? You talk to the Raleighs? Hello, Nancy. Something I can do for you? Hello, Nancy. Guess I'm gonna be blushing every time I see you now. Hello, Nancy. Thanks for fixing that fence. What can I do for you? No offense, ma'am, but this here's a working cattle ranch. Somebody tells you to do something, it'd be a good idea to get in the habit of doing it. Now, if you'll excuse me, sorry, ma'am. In that case, I can't talk to you. He'll be okay. Getting bit by a rattler's no picnic, but it sounds like he's out of the woods. Actually, I'm kinda glad you came by. Something I need you to do for me, if you wouldn't mind. This glowing horse came galloping up out of the dark, making a real ruckus. Everybody woke up and went running outside to look. It was the strangest thing I've ever seen. Positive. Probably crawled in through a mouse hole sometime during the day and took a nap. Nighttime's when they're most active. Something the Raleighs found out the hard way. Guess you're gonna be asking me a lot of questions, huh? The Raleighs said you were a detective. I'm gonna be honest with you, ma'am. We were short a couple hands to begin with, and now with the Raleighs gone and everybody on edge over what happened last night, well, this is not a good time to be visiting Shadow Ranch, that's all. Guess it's possible. Person would have to know how to handle snakes, of course, but then if you work in the desert, that's one of the things that's good to know. He does his job and he does it good. Far as I'm concerned, that's all that's important. No, ma'am. And it'd suit me just fine if I never saw it again. If it was, somebody out there's got a pretty twisted sense of humor because I sure didn't think it was funny. It reared up a couple times, then spun around and went racing off the way it came. By the time anybody thought about going after it, it had disappeared. To get to Mary's shop, just follow the trail that goes northeast out of the corral. Can't miss it, not since I've been here. This got something to do with the treasure? She doesn't like the Raleighs. No idea. Not really any of my business. It's just the feeling I get when I talk to her, that's all. Well, if the guy did hide something, it's probably long gone by now. Got it right here. When I heard you were a detective, I started keeping it on me. Thought you might snoop through my stuff or something. Stranger things have happened, I guess. And the human heart never does seem to play by the rules. Can't see why the Raleighs would care. Less, of course, they dislike her as much as she seems to dislike them. And even then, I can't see where it'd be any of their business. Never mind. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have asked. Forget I said anything. So what else can I do for you? On your way to Mary Yazzie, look for the trail on your left that heads towards Shadow Mountain and stay on it till you get there. It's about an hour and a half's ride. Well, let me know if you need anything else. So if you could keep an eye out for that chicken wire and patch that hole as soon as it gets here, the chickens and I'd really appreciate it. Doesn't look that way. But you still have to put it up, even if it means working at night. It's just common sense. You'll manage. Just be sure to wear gloves. I'll leave my pliers out. If you have to do it at night, that's okay. There should be plenty of moonlight. You'll be able to see fine. About as long as the Raleighs have lived here. About 3 months, I guess. I was their first hire. First me, then Tex, then Shorty. Sure do. They gave me their key ring at the hospital. I know there's a painting of her over in the ranch house, and that's about it. Why? What'd the letter say? Sure, can't say as I have, but then most of my duties require me to stay close to home. Tex, he's the one you ought to ask. Tex? And Mary Yazzie? You gotta be kidding me. Probably the one over in Dry Creek. It's a ghost town now, but the jailhouse and a couple other old buildings are still standing. At least they were last I saw. Sorry to hear that. Well, to be honest, I'm not, really. Driving back and forth to the airport takes a lot of time, and time's one thing we're all running kinda short of around here. Sure did. It was her most prized possession. In fact, I got it right here. Borrow it. What for? Just take care of it, okay? That's terrible. Did you see who did it? You shouldn't go there anymore, Nancy. Something bad's obviously going on, and you should just stay away. And call the sheriff, of course. Just make sure it gets done, because if it doesn't, the coyotes are gonna have themselves one heck of a banquet, and you're gonna be in a lot of hot water. Now, is there something I can do for you? You got a steady back home? This chicken coop's been a thorn in my side ever since I got here. And I should probably warn you, the wire I need to fix the hole in the fence was supposed to be delivered today. But it's not here yet, and the Raleighs just called and asked me to run an errand for them tonight. Ma'am, take care. Appreciate it. See you later. That's Francis's father, Sheriff Merrill Humber. There's something written on the back. Stairs to cellar. That's Francis's handwriting. Looks like the other half of the message got torn off. Seems to me Aunt Ellie said Francis had one just like it. I keep it on me for good luck.
I know this is a lot to ask, but do you think I could borrow it for a while?
Where did you come from? Well, see, I think I'll turn in too. Night, ma'am. Next time, just stick to burgers.
I heard the whole thing, Nancy. Go get some sleep. I'll keep an eye on things till morning. Here, try this. Hurry. Here, try this. Hurry. It's all over now.
Get smart, Nancy Drew. You're wasting precious time. Stop the demolition or you'll never see her again.
I can't let you do this, Nancy. Not so fast, Detective. We're going down in a blaze of glory. You've cracked your last case. Watch out there, Nancy. That projector's crumbling like a prehistoric cookie. Don't touch that projector, dear. It's a temperamental old beast. Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3, testing. Is this thing on? Hello? Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, testing, testing. Ah! That light! Nancy, it's Joseph. Wait till you see this. Come to the projection room. You must be Nancy. The worry's written all over your face. Well, I'm Joe. I started to look for you, but then I figured better to park myself and let you find me. Any trace of your friend? What did the police say? Hi, Nancy. Nancy, take a look at this. I'm sorry you had to see that wreath, Nancy. It's disgusting. Can you believe this ransom demand coming out of thin air? Hey, Nancy, I've been looking for you. Any signs of Maya? Did you call? What did they say? Hey there, Nancy. Simone Mueller. I should have warned you. What about calling the police? There's an outside line in the ticket booth, standard procedure. But this theater's going to be torn down in 3 days. Did you tell them that? Well, I checked all the outside doors, and they're locked up tight. Only folks who've been in the theater all day are Brady and Simone, you and Maya, Nicholas Falcone, and myself. Well, I've only got this one pair of eyes, so I can't say 100%. I was up here in the projector room, sound testing for the premiere. But I'd be disappointed in your detective work if you didn't put me through the ringer like a regular suspect. Well, they sure grow ornery out there in California, don't they? I reckon if the kidnapper wants the demolition stopped, they must be keeping Maya somewhere in the building. Oh, I think so. Or maybe Brady told me when I saw him in the hall. He seems eager to help. She's a little intense. Probably a showbiz thing, but I don't guess anything in L.A. has prepared her for the likes of Nancy Drew. And Maya's a reporter, right? Well, you yelled it in my ear when I called down to the dressing room earlier. Remember? That's the spirit. This life? Gosh, no. I enjoy playing movies for folks, but showbiz, that's something else. This life? Gosh, no. I enjoy playing movies for folks, but showbiz, that's something else. Don't mention it, dear. Now, what's your plan of attack? Who knows why they did it? The important thing's to get her back. I've spent the last 40-something years finding my way around this place, so let me know if I can help. Completed in 1925. The vision of one J.J. Thompson. J.J. Thompson, the original owner, died in 1950. His kids inherited it and decided that movie theaters were the wave of the future. Anyway, this is not something to take on alone, Nancy. You better call. Try calling county administration. The records division keeps that type of stuff. I bet a blueprint would show secret passages that even I've never found. Ask for the original plans, not the ones from the 56 remodel. Brady found it. I should think so. He didn't say. Give the police a call, and then you better go back to your hotel and get some rest. Give the police a call. You won't be any help to Maya if you get too tired to think. Go ahead and use the phone in the ticket booth. I'll be down in a minute. Apparently, the call came from north of here, a town called Granite City. Personally, I think it's a hoax. But now the police are convinced that Maya's not in this building. Are you sure the pizza boxes were in that magician's room? Because the police couldn't find anything. They searched the whole building. No trace of that either. Follow your gut, Nancy. If you think Maya's still here, you keep looking for her, you hear? I've decided I need to get organized, Nancy. Tomorrow I'm really going to straighten up in here. I think a fresh coat of paint would really cheer things up, don't you? Do you think the premiere will sell out? Don't tell him she's here, Nancy. I'll take her away and knock down the theater. Don't tell him, Nancy. Let's hope the kidnapper just did this to scare you. The phone's been ringing off the hook all morning. I don't know how the press got a hold of this, but they're all over it like ants on a picnic. I can't say for sure, but I can make an educated guess. Can you believe the way she diverted all of the attention away from Maya and used the poster to promote Brady as the big hero? This shouldn't be happening. It's all backwards. Greasewood, Arizona. My brother Jake is there. It's a tiny town with no movie theater, so we're going to put one on the map. I got some money saved. It's been broken for a spell. The kids lost interest in it when video games came along. But I bet it wouldn't be hard to fix. I'd love for you to see how it works, and then you could make yourself a little souvenir from the Royal Palladium. Or send a key to your sweetheart, old JJ. Owner, visionary, wheeler dealer. JJ loved a magic show. He had this place built with those kind of big spectacle shows in mind. JJ also happened to love the sight of his own mug in the mirror. You can tell by the way he ornamented the auditorium with his own head. Well, they are interested. The Historical Society's been working like the dickens to get this place declared a landmark. But someone downtown has been stalling. They're awfully close. Nicholas has been hanging around this theater since he was a little boy. I know how torn up he is about the theater. This'll be over soon enough, and then he'll go home. I don't think he's dangerous, for gosh sakes. Oh, Nancy, thank goodness you're okay. What do you mean? The projection room? But who? Someone must have ducked out of the press conference. I was so busy with crowd control, I didn't even notice. Now, what you want to go digging into an old man's life for, Nancy? Now, I am going to Greasewood, and I'm not desperate. I made up the part about my brother so you wouldn't feel sorry for me. You've got enough to worry about, don't you? Oh, fine. Everything's great. Fine. I was up till the wee hours polishing up the lobby. Heck, I'm even fixing to repair the old keymaker so you can give it a whirl. Guess old habits die hard, eh? What happened? You found her? Oh, that's great. Where is she now? Are you sure you didn't just imagine you saw her? But what do you mean gone? She left? The kidnapper must have moved her. Evidence. That should interest the police. Have you called them? I'll wait up for the police. You get some rest, Nancy. You're going to need it for tomorrow. You've got to call them, Nancy. They might really be able to help. I never meant for it to turn out this way. Atta girl. Chin up. Don't let the turkeys get you down. Bye.
Listen carefully. If they knock the theater down, a girl goes with it.
Hello?
Listen carefully. If they knock the theater down, a girl goes with it.
What? Who is this? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
You'll never get away with this. Do you hear me?
Hello? This is Joseph Hughes, the caretaker. I'm looking for Brady Armstrong. He said he'd be there. Who's this? And what's all the excitement? Now, please try to calm down and tell me what's going on. What's your name, dear? Disappeared from the men's dressing room? What makes you think she was taken? Well, they must have taken her through that secret passageway. Holy smokes! And you're on an inside line. That call must have come from inside the building. We gotta act quick. You check out the secret passageway. I'll make sure all the exits are locked, and then I'll come find you. Who's there? Nancy. For goodness sakes. What are you doing down there? This chair seems to be stuck. Hold on, I'm greasing the wheels here. The magician's room. I swear, Nancy, as long as I've worked here, I've never been able to find my way in there. Hold on. What happened? You found her? Oh, that's great. Where is she now? Are you sure you didn't just imagine you saw her? But what do you mean gone? She left? The kidnapper must have moved her. Evidence. That should interest the police. Have you called them? I'll wait up for the police. You get some rest, Nancy. You're going to need it for tomorrow. You've got to call them, Nancy. They might really be able to help. Did you call? What do they say? Okay, folks, we're about to get started here. Mrs. Mueller, Mr. Armstrong will do their best to answer all of your questions in the time allotted. But let's proceed with good manners, shall we?
Adios. Later. Bye. Get on out of here now. Spooky. I told you could hear her singing. I wonder if the song means anything. I remember that song now. Jesselyn's favorite. Nothing that time. Maybe that's enough for now. I caught something good. Want to listen? Come back! Come back a minute. Who is that? What was that? Who's there? Oh my gosh. Hold on there now. What the? Holy... Charlotte, darling, you're gonna have to help me out here, 'cause I don't know how the heck I'm gonna get in this door. Check it out. Wanna hear a ghost? Sure. Is anyone in here? Come this way. Follow me out. Hey! You're not Savannah. Is she with you? Are you the new assistant? What's his name get canned or something? What did you just say? I never took her for a coward. Ghosts? No, that ain't it. She's scared of seeing me. Charlotte, darling, you're gonna have to help me out here. No need to jump, just me. That's Charlotte. It was a sad time. None of us wanted to see her leave. We didn't expect it to become what it's become. I got a book about it somewhere. Give it to you when I find it. I'll tell you what I can. But sometimes it's best to just look and listen. That there is Clara's mother. Not a great deal. She loved her secrets. Never even told Clara who her daddy was. Don't know. When Clara was about 10, Rosalie got real sick. Every day Clara would ask about her daddy. I think she was afraid of being left to fend for herself. But Rosalie wouldn't say. Can you imagine? One parent dying, leaving you alone in the world, and refusing to tell you who you belong to? She was raised alongside Charlotte and Harper. For a year, Clara kept her bags packed. She was so sure they'd just kick her out. She was just a kid. She was scared of losing her home all over again. Roger and Marie, side by side from the day they married to the day they died. Both real sweet. Charlotte and Harper's parents. May they rest in peace. Harper Stone. Indeed. She ran away shortly after Charlotte died. Long enough that we thought we'd lost her too. One day she walked in the front door looking wild and thin as a spring sapling. Never said where she was. Her granddaddy was so mad he left the stone to remind her of what she'd put them through. She'd sit out there and read. Don't know if it was spite or if it made her feel at home. Knowing her, probably both. That's your name, isn't it? Well, you don't get less subtle than that now, do you? Let's hope it's one of the living. Beauregard Thornton, mean old codger, had 2 sons, Lee and Jackson. Wasn't fond of unity, you could say. Lee grew up to be my granddaddy. Jackson was granddaddy to the girls, Clara, Charlotte, and Harper. He was a mean curmudgeon, but laid most of the foundation for the Thornton family company. Pushed Lee right to the sidelines. Guess I'm keeping with tradition. Virginia, my mother. Rest her soul. Just that I miss her, and I always will. Luther, my daddy. Mama called him the king of slamming doors. He had a hot temper, but a soft heart, and no mind for business. He was an intuitive. He brought me out here to the stones at night. Taught me how to open my eyes, shut up, and listen. You rest well, Daddy. This blank one is my favorite. Who doesn't want a celebrity in the family? Especially one that rubs all the wrong people the wrong way. The Gray Lady. In the Civil War, they say she was a spy, passing codes for the North. If you look, you can find some of her contraptions here. Her service gave the Thornton family this land. Our whole story begins here. We're doing a good job of keeping your legacy, my dear Gray Lady, because some of us are doing our best, and some of us are doing our worst. And that one there, that's my tombstone, waiting for me. Hi there. You scared me. Hi. You sure do like creeping around. Turns out I am interesting, looks like. What you need? That was fast. Need something? Yeah. So Savannah sent you? You're just a kid. True enough. I hope Savannah understands the mess she dropped you in. Take a look around and then you tell me. Who's more welcome here? The living or the dead? Say what suits you. Won't make the nights around here any shorter. Anyway, Savannah had a package sent. I guess it must be for you. It's up in the house. My cousin, Harper and Charlotte's cousin, she lived with the girls after her mama passed. I did, once, and now I don't. Charlotte was something special, just like our Jesslyn. She had the most beautiful voice. When she sang, it was like sunlight busting through fog. She was the talented one of the bunch. You can still hear her sing, if you stop to listen in the quiet, dark places. I don't need belief. I have proof. EVP. Here's some creepy things from time to time. Check it out whenever you want. If you got the nerve. Jesselyn didn't run away, and she wasn't kidnapped. Girl. Fear ain't some feeling to overcome, especially not here. That prickly feeling you get in that old house, that means something dark is whispering your name. Trust me, that's as close as you want to get. Huh, not supposedly. Then consider yourself lucky. In my experience, of which I have significantly more, reality isn't that simple. This ghost was my cousin Charlotte, and yes, I saw her. I saw her grow up. I was here the night she died, and I've seen her since, much as I wish that wasn't true. Yep. We got money and all the trouble that buys. Where is she? Harper? What's she doing with Harper? Oh, no. They all got along famously. Until the night of the fire. Charlotte was getting ready for her big 21st birthday ball. And at the last minute went off to what is now the ruins. No one knows what started the fire. Clara grew up pretty fast, but Harper, she got lost in that night and never got found. I'm only on the island because Jesselyn's missing. Nothing's gonna get me in that house. Don't talk nonsense. Now that would ruin Clara's day. I'm gonna go get her. I told you. Life don't play by the rules here. Anyways, if she was, she ain't now. You asking if I really went to jail? Yes. I advise against it. It's not a fun place, and they don't let you leave. I know what you meant. I took a tour of the seasons. My debt is paid, that's all. The nerve you got. Get this straight, girl. I never hurt no one in my life. Now go. Go on, get. Savannah's talking to you about me? Don't suppose you could give me your number? Just so you know, she's gonna be mad at you for giving me this number. She'll get over it. Do? Nothing. Back long time ago, so she told you. She and I were something of a couple. Long time ago. Been a long time since we talked. We went to the same bookstore. I'll take that as a compliment and an insult. A while. Gone now. It was a little old dark place. Carried these musty old books. Stuff that didn't exist anywhere else. All sorts. But I was there researching our family. Savannah had this way of reading, like there was something she needed to know real bad. One day I finally asked, "What is it you need to know so bad?" You know what she said? Nothing. She handed over the book she was reading and walked out. At first, I'm feeling a touch rejected. But then I look at the book. That was the crazy thing. It was the Thornton family book of names. Births, deaths, marriage, and so on, going way back. Why, indeed. I had to know. Took me some doing, but I tracked her down. Around the time Charlotte's ghost was driving the family away, the stories started to spread. Little kids around here started playing this game to scare themselves silly. They'd turn off the lights and say, "Fire so red, night so black. Dear sweet Charlotte, please come back," over and over again until they'd just about scare themselves to death. It was just a game, but that's when people started jumping the fence at night hoping to meet her, saying that same silly rhyme. Most would just come and go in peace, but the ones who found her, it messed them up real good. A couple even went into shock. One of those people who met her was Savannah. Ask her, and maybe she'll tell you about it. After that, she became obsessed with Thornton Hall. We got to know each other. I fell for her like a Black Tuesday banker. In the end, the landing was just as rough. Plane crash. Bad blood brings bad luck. That's why you couldn't get me in there for nothing. That don't stop you from feeling them. Would you believe my happiest memories live in that house? Christmases and long summer nights stargazing on the roof. After Charlotte died, that's when something I always knew came out shining so bright I finally had to admit it. Long as it's been growing, the Thornton family tree's been split down the middle. The evil roots always trying to strangle out the good. I used to think I was on the side of good. What do you think? Don't be so sure. Maybe you're right. Yep, same here. You wouldn't know by looking around here, seeing the state we're in, but we're loaded. The Thornton family bought its money with blood, and not always our own. I don't speak ill of the dead, especially not when they're staring up at the soles of my boots. Look around. You'll see. That is where our troubles began. Most of the family'd rather it'd never come up. Our first factory was right here on the island. At the time, it made us a lot of money, but along the way, we got greedy. Never built a place for the workers to stay. They'd bed down right on the processing floor. Nothing for heat in the winters, so the workers built fires inside. One winter, there was a wicked cold snap. They built a couple of extra big fires, and in the night the fumes built up. None of them ever woke up again. That's when we split in two. Half saying this'll never happen again, and half saying accidents happen, grieve and move on. That was more than 100 years ago, and we still can't move on. That's why this house still stands, I think. Until we Thorntons decide who we're gonna be, we're stuck on this island. You should see it on a summer day when the ocean and the sky are sharing the same blue, and the grass is bright. But here it is, gray and dark, under all the misery we've heaped upon it. Everyone was. Everyone is. She's the bright spot of happiness in this whole miserable family. No one lives out on the island, but just on the shore. Clara, that's Jessalyn's mother. Colton, her fiancé. Depends what you mean by anyone. No. Here, take this. Yes, maybe that's enough for now. Dunno. The night before I saw her take off into the night holding this little package like it was precious to her. The look on her face. I should have stopped her, said, "What is wrong?" Clara. No. Good, sweet nonsense, no. Do not even imply that I'm after that to anyone. I do not like that shifty little punk, but I have said that about all Jesse's boyfriends. With him, I mean it a little extra. Something's crooked with the two of them together. I don't know if she can see it or not. Don't believe that, because it ain't true. She used to come visit just to laugh at me through the glass. That was the price of hearing about home. You really want to know? Then listen. I don't care if you believe me, but keep this to yourself. I wasn't close to the company then. Still ain't, but I heard through a friend of the guy down the way. You know how it goes. I heard that our processing plant in town was up to its old tricks, hiring people who couldn't afford to quit and treating them beyond bad, locking them in to meet quotas and such. I asked Clara. She denied, naturally, but it made her so mad I asked. I had to go check it out myself. I went in the middle of the night, and right away I saw it was true. The exit was padlocked, right in plain view of the world, and no one cared. I broke in, that's true. I was furious. I broke one of the big machines, that's true too. So there it is. I stood up, and boy, did I get knocked down. You don't even know the half of it. She couldn't come look at me through the other side of the glass. I never saw her again. I'm not exactly enthusiastic about the dead, no offense meant. But yes, I do find it interesting. Life is a quest for truth, is it not? And death has a way of stripping away all pretensions. You Northerners don't have a lock on big thinkers. We got plenty. like Roscoe J. Redbrook and the Gimbaltucky Boys, and I dare you to say their lyrics don't equal those of the Greek poets. And we got that old guy with the white suit and the chickens. Point is, I like ghosts because they show me what is, not what I want to see. And wearing boots don't make you stupid. Makes you smart, if it's muddy. You did. You don't look near as bad as most who see her. She terrifies everybody. Sorry.
Hey, well, it's the little lady detective. What do you need? Glad you dropped in. Lori told me she'd given you a letter from Jake Hurley that says how to find his mine. I can't stay mad at a fellow detective. What do you need? Still don't feel like talking. What's going on? Amateur detective, huh? Ever thought about becoming a real detective? You know, like me? Who doesn't? It's a great job, you know. I love it. You, heard about those bank robberies I solved, right? Baffling case. Two-man team at 17 banks in 3 states in 5 days. FBI had no idea who the perps were. But after forcing their vehicle to a stop, confronting them, despite the fact that they were armed and giving chase, I single-handedly made the collar. You heard wrong. You see, Nancy, when somebody does something really remarkable in this country, the first thing everybody else does is try to tear them down. Reporters, late-night comedians, even some of my fellow officers, all have been spreading vicious lies about me. Why? Because they've never done anything remarkable in their sorry little lives, and they're jealous. Anyway, you should look around in here. Lots of interesting stuff. This was Jake's private car, you know. Yeah, at first I thought it was an old coin, but it turned out to be some kind of slug. Probably been lying there for 100 years. It may have served a purpose back then, but now, worthless. Nah. Sure, in fact, well, I'll tell you what. What else can I do for you? Oh, yeah? That slug? I mean, I knew that slug was a clue. That's why I gave it to you. I mean, I could have found Lori no sweat, but I thought, hey, why not give somebody else a shot? And you came through. Nice job. Now, why would I want to do a thing like that? I can't stand those sappy books she writes. And seeing as I said as much during an interview on national TV once, it's a pretty safe bet she doesn't like me. The ghost guy? Total quack. Only reason I'd talk to him would be to arrest him for fraud. We met at a party in New York. Nice girl. Not a lot upstairs, but nice girl. Yeah, she always told me they were... I mean, she told me once that she thought they were very, brown. Nope, no, never went out. No. Don't you ever stop asking questions? I dumped her, okay? I'm not proud of what I did. I'm not happy about what I did, but it's done. It's over. Now let's drop it. You are incredibly irritating, you know that? I dumped her because people said going out with her would make me look bad. Said she was a joke, that no one took her seriously. Said if I started hanging with her, no one would take me seriously. So I stopped calling. No. Now take a powder. I don't feel like talking anymore. Why, I'm surprised at you. Don't you know that every detective should carry a pen? Suit yourself. You bet. Talk about luck. Here's your pen. Duct tape? Sure don't. But there was this one case I worked where duct tape came in real handy. See, I had just collared this. Lori should have given that to me. I mean, I'm the trained professional around here. Let me take a look. I've seen enough. 2 words. Useless. Those are just the rantings of a guy who spent way too much of his life swirling mud around in pans under the hot sun. 5-star nut job. Exactly where it belongs. Nada. None that were any help, thanks to Casey Jones up there. I told the old geezer not to touch anything, but he went and got his big, fat, oily paw prints all over the place. If we didn't need him to drive the train, I'd charge him with obstruction of justice. Of course. Whoa, I didn't say that. As a matter of fact, I found this. Because they're thinking about axing his show, that's why. I checked with this buddy of mine in L.A. Gray's got to come up with something real big real soon, or he's toast. And you can't get much bigger than a train with a spooky past that's prone to strange accidents, now can ya? All in due time. I always like to get my ducks in a row before I make an arrest. Hey, the train could have derailed. We're talking reckless endangerment, attempted assault, maybe even attempted murder. Please, who's the top cop here, huh? Who's the world-famous detective? You? I know what I'm doing, sweetheart. John Gray wanted publicity. That's exactly what I'm gonna give him. Me? What, are you joking? You're just some teenage nobody. I don't have to listen to this. Look, maybe I was a little hasty, pointing a finger at the ghost guy like that. Maybe all those lies people have been spreading are starting to get to me. Maybe I thought it would help if I got a little positive press by solving a crime aboard a haunted train. Maybe I apologize. And, maybe you can see fit not to let any of this go beyond this room? Great. Well, what, that cigar clipper? Go ahead, take a look. He probably died trying to work that mine of his all by himself. But I'll let you in on a secret. I'm onto something that could crack this case wide open. Sorry, can't go into detail. Let's just say that thanks to yours truly, what happened to Jake Hurley won't be a mystery much longer. Well, as it happens, I got lots of pins. Tell you what, if you can play that Leapin' Lizards game I found over there and do better than I did when I played it, which shouldn't be that hard seeing as how smart you are, I'll give you a pen. What do you say? But look, from now on, if you come across anything that may have something to do with Jake Hurley and his mind, let me know, okay? Just so I can, give you advice, help you sort things out. After all, the opportunity to work side by side with a world-famous police detective doesn't come along every day, you know. Nancy, right? She could have been kidnapped, she could have been tossed off the train, she could be hiding from us. But I obviously won't know which until I've gathered all the facts. I'll know the facts when I know the facts. The truth can't be rushed, you know. Of course, it may not look it because that's my style. I'm a low-key kind of guy. But hey, don't worry. Well, as you may or may not have heard, I didn't find the mine. But at least now I know where it isn't, which is just as good as knowing where it is. Sorta. Oh. Don't mention it. Helping people's what I'm all about. Not a problem. Anything for a fellow detective. You lost. Guess you're not so smart after all. Try again. You lost again. One more time. Can't do that. Oops, that's a no-no. That would be cheating. You're out of moves. Game over. You got 6 lizards. You got 5 lizards. You got 4 lizards. 5 left. Sorry, you tied me, but you didn't beat me. Here, keep it. Wear it around your neck or something. That way, when people ask you where you got it, you can tell them Tino Balducci gave it to you. The Tino Balducci. Okay, the object of the game is to get rid of as many lizards as you can by jumping them with other lizards until you can't jump anymore. Last time I played, I wound up with just 5 lizards. If you can wind up with only 4, the pen's yours. Probably fell out of the perp's pocket while he was yanking on the handle.
Looks like some kind of thermometer.
Yeah, like the kind a certain ghost hunter uses on that bogus show of his.
You think John Gray threw the break? But why would he do that?
Nope. Afraid not. Darn if I know. Sure, I guess. Yeah? Why?
Would you mind not touching that? Could you not touch that? Would you mind not touching that? That's worth more than you're worth.
Get out of there! You are not allowed in there! Now out! Now! What are you doing? Get out!
Hello. Salutations. Greetings. How will you be paying for the vase you broke? Well, if it isn't history's greatest enemy. Did you come to burn my books or break my breakables? Out. You again. Get out. Back so soon. Leave me alone. Sorry, nothing. Let me know if I can look for something else for you. I'm sorry, we're out. I don't like you. You break things. Oh, did you hear that, Vase? She's sorry that you made the long trek from China to Europe where you survived 2 world wars and countless natural disasters. Only to be unceremoniously kicked to death by some space cadet for no reason! Not that that matters now that you are dead! Oh, well, if it was an accident, then I'm not mad. I thought your generation was supposed to be good with sarcasm. Scram, kid! Give me some space to mourn! Do us both a favor and stay out! Well, the answer is yes.
The question was, should I waltz myself out of the shop and never come back ever as long as I live? I can live with that. Now go make friends with the outside world. Of course. No more than anyone else. The 12-year-old cop. Yeah, he's been here. He left something behind. Did he leave it behind to torment me? Possibly not. Is it tormenting me? Yes, it is. Can't figure the blasted thing out. It's on the new arrival shelf. I was going to talk over at the River Heights Historical Society. We were talking about the time capsule. Not that that matters now that it's been burned to a crisp. It was due to be opened at the Anvil Days Festival. You should know this. The winner of the Clues Challenge gets to add something of their own when it's resealed. What are you talking about? It was not canceled. I showed up, I gave my talk, there was the reception, then I left. Same as always. What you heard was wrong, so why don't you just butt out? That was a long time ago. That's not who I am now. Just let it go. It's my past, not yours. It could, in theory, but if that was real, it would have probably evaporated or exploded by now. Game? Oh, yeah, that. I haven't played that in ages. Be warned, I rebuilt that game, I know the tricks, so I'm pretty much unbeatable. Sure. I have never seen that in my life. I don't know how it got there. I had nothing to do with this fire. Nothing. I'm not going through this again with you people. Once is enough. After all I've gone through, you want to hang me out to dry again. Well, it's not going to happen. You got it? Get out of my store. I said leave. Well, she's on the city council, so she's either corrupt or deeply immersed in the corrupting process. Seriously? Where is your youthful cynicism? Yes, all politicians are corrupt. The reporter? She was in here pestering me earlier today, too. Are you all taking turns or something? Send the next guy in with a sandwich, would you? I don't like it when people ask me questions. Right now, you are pestering me with questions about previous questions that I was pestered with earlier. It's just recursive and rude, and now I have a headache. I wasn't. I was just passing by. I was trying to open the time capsule. That's none of your business. I didn't start the fire. I don't have to put up with this harassment. Now that's a question I like. You got it. I'm going to go see what I got in the back. Just hold on. Sure, I once was. Oh, yeah. I had a lot of fun in life. I had friends. I met the girl I was going to spend the rest of my life with. What do you care? You some sort of tourist in other people's misery? You'd think that. I was happy. But one time, just once, I tried to speak truth to power. And man, if I didn't pay the price. It means my life has been a cruel joke. Try as you might, it's hard not to let that influence your general mood. Well, when you make it your business to tell the truth, you make a lot of people mad. That's what happened to me. I was 20. I'd been around the block a few times, been working my own cases for 10 years at that point. I'd seen it all. I'd been kidnapped, knocked out, hexed, cursed, locked up in a trunk, you name it. But I always nabbed the baddies. Always. That is until I turned in J.P. Bennington for cheating his way into City Hall. The Bennington family was very powerful in those days. Still is. In fact, Tony's brother-in-law is a Bennington. He accused me of stealing one of his father's priceless antiques, this ancient magnifying glass that was supposedly used in the drafting of the town charter. Supposedly belonged to one of the town's founding fathers. Ooh, that's a really good idea. I did, in hundreds of ways, to anyone who would listen. It didn't matter. No, it isn't. My life was just beginning. Then in a blink, I was cut off at the knees. No one trusted me, no more cases. I lost everything. I wanted to see the world. I was going to. Then, just like that, he took that from me. Now I try to bring a little of the world to me when I can. But look around. This isn't enough. He slandered me in the press, and people forgot about how crooked he was. He got into City Hall. His career took off. He became a judge and moved on to the big time. Bye-bye, River Heights. Don't know her. Know the family enough to know that I've got no interest in meeting her. Her parents are dull and unimaginative. They only care about money. What are the chances that they're going to have a non-tedious, non-awful daughter? Because they don't care about people like you and me.
When they're running for office, we're just votes to buy. Once they're elected, we're just collateral damage for whatever or whomever's buying them off. Is she the one who broke my vase? I don't hate her, but I do want her to think that. She should have a healthy fear of this place. I have to chase off the clumsy ones or I'll end up on the street. Well, of course I am. You would be too. Stop right there. If you're going where I think you are, get out! Get out of my store! Now! I could have run away, but this is where my life was taken away from me. This is the only place I could one day get it back. He did. If I had a problem with Carson, I'd go after Carson, not Nancy. Yes, I did. He was quite the teacher's pet from what I understand. My parents, they would say, Alexei, do not worry. The truth will one day make itself known. But in my life, all evidence points to the contrary. No case too big, no fee too small, I used to say. I worked a lot of cases. I know it's silly. I do miss it. I used to be Magnificent Markovic, kid detective. That wasn't my nickname, that was who I was. When it was gone, I was just Alexei. Whoever that is. Good day. Bye. Until next time.
But the craziest thing Jake Hurley ever did was tell Granddad the secret to finding his mine. He made him swear to tell it to my daddy and nobody else. Eventually my daddy, he told me, and it was so bizarre that I remember it to this day, though I sure don't understand how it'd help anybody find his mine. But since my daddy didn't tell me not to tell anybody, this is what crazy Jake Hurley told Granddad, word for word. So do you know what you want to order yet, Edna?
I'm still looking.
Did I tell you that my granddaddy was the engineer on a private train owned by one of the richest men that ever passed through Copper Gorge? Jake Hurley was his name. Yes, sir, my granddaddy was Jake's private engineer for more than 25 years. Told my daddy that men don't come any crazier than Jake Hurley, or any nicer. Treated my granddaddy real well, and told him stuff. Real important stuff. Stuff he made my granddaddy swear to never ever forget. Stuff that my granddaddy told my daddy, and that my daddy told me. Why don't you get the egg salad, Edna? Eggs are back to being good for you, you know. Seems like just last year all those scientific types were saying your arteries would clog up if you so much as looked at an egg. But nowadays, well, all of a sudden eggs are chock full of vitamins and proteins, and eating them's not only okay, it's what they recommend. They should either make up their minds or keep their mouths shut. Make eating more pleasant, that's for sure. Did I tell you that my granddaddy was the engineer on a private train owned by one of the richest men that ever passed through Copper Gorge? Jake Hurley was his name. Yes, sir, my granddaddy was Jake's private engineer for more than 25 years. Told my daddy that men don't come any crazier than Jake Hurley, or any nicer. Treated my granddaddy real well, and told him stuff. Real important stuff. Stuff he made my granddaddy swear to never ever forget. Stuff that my granddaddy told my daddy, and that my daddy told me. Why don't you get the egg salad, Edna? Eggs are back to being good for you, you know. Seems like just last year all those scientific types were saying your arteries would clog up if you so much as looked at an egg. But nowadays, well, all of a sudden eggs are chock full of vitamins and proteins, and eating them's not only okay, it's what they recommend. They should either make up their minds or keep their mouths shut. Make eating more pleasant, that's for sure. Yes, sir, Jake Hurley told my granddaddy things he never told another living soul. Not even his wife. I tell you about her, Edna?
I don't think so.
Camille was her name. Camille Voulet. That's French, you know. Of course, she died so young that poor Jake didn't have time to tell her anything. According to my granddaddy, one summer day she had a dizzy spell and fell and hit her head. She didn't take well to the heat, see, and sometimes in the summer, when they were going through the desert, why, that train'd be just like an oven. Anyway, Granddad said she got right up afterwards and seemed okay, but a couple hours later, Jake found her in her room, dead as a doornail. Now there's another expression that kinda makes you wonder. Dead as a doornail. How can something be dead if it was never alive to begin with? And why a doornail? Why not something else that begins with a D, like dish rag, or dust mop? Dead as a dust mop. That's kinda got a ring to it, don't you think? The way my granddaddy died, that was kind of strange, too. I ever tell you how my granddaddy died?
No, I don't think you did.
My daddy, he came home from school one day to find a railroad official telling his mom that Granddad been found dead in Blue Moon Canyon, Nevada. He was in the engine of Jake Hurley's train, just kind of slumped over with his hands still on the throttle. The strange thing is, nobody else was on board the train, yet the door to the engine was locked and barred. It was like Granddad was trying to keep someone out, like he was running from something, like something finally scared him so bad his heart just stopped. Of course, he was in his 60s at the time, and back then that was old. Doesn't seem so old now, does it, Edna? Here I am, pushing 93, and still spry as a spring chicken. Spring chicken! Now where do you suppose that expression came from? Why not spring goose or summer chicken? Life's just one puzzlement after another, isn't it, Edna? I ever tell you about the mine my granddaddy said Jake Hurley'd found?
He found a mine?
A couple years before he died, Granddad told my daddy that Jake found a vein in the mountains somewhere and was mining it all by himself, so no one would steal it out from under him. He wouldn't even tell Granddad where the mine was. What he'd do is have Granddad drive the train real slow so he could jump off without Granddad seeing him. Then Granddad would pick him up at a prearranged spot a few days later. Oh, they didn't call him Crazy Jake Hurley for nothing. Speaking of crazy, you see how much Abner's charging for a haircut at that shop of his now? $20! But what's even crazier is people are actually paying him that. I told him the only way I'd pay him $20 would be if I came in with hair down to my knees. He just laughed and said I was a crazy one. $20 for a haircut? What is this world coming to? The eye of the tiger is fixed on a star. Zircon lies in fingers that scar. Amethyst floats in a hand from the deep. Citrine is what the foul mouth shall keep. Tourmaline by a soft arm is ensnared. Peridot rests at the foot of the mare.
Would you look at that? I think Sally just cracked my glass. Everybody who ever met Jake Hurley thought he was crazy. According to Granddaddy, Jake got his money from his parents. There he was, rich beyond belief, didn't have to work a day in his life. Yet the first chance he got, Jake Hurley went west and became a miner. Squeezed a bunch of money out of his parents by telling him he was gonna start a lumber business, then bought himself a custom-built train. Probably looked a lot like the one that's parked out there at the depot right now. Speaking of which, I heard a rumor that there's celebrities on board that train. There's a guy from cable TV and that police detective who solved all those bank robberies. I forget his name. Oh, and that lady who writes all those romance books. And that rich blonde girl, the one who's always making a public spectacle of herself. Don't know what a group like that be doing in Copper Gorge, but that's the rumor.